Hey everybody, Sean here from Somm Wine Club, and I have got some wine for you. This is the Bodegas Vetus Flor de Vetus Rueda Verdejo. This is part of the May 2024 Somm Wine Club box, and coming from a region that I've been adjacent to but haven't visited, so I can speak a little bit about kind of the general area. Bodega Vetus is based in Toro, which is an appellation in Castilla y Leon along the Duero River for producing Tempranillo or Tinta de Toro. The kind of next door region to Toro is a region called Rueda. And kind of interestingly, if you look at the map of Castilla y Leon, you have Ribera del Duero, which is further to the east, and then you have Rueda and you have Toro. Now, both Toro and Ribera del Duero focus on Tempranillo and bigger red wines, but Rueda is a little bit of an anomaly and focuses almost exclusively on white wines. It's like 97% white wines. Some of that has to do with geography. Some of that has to do with history. Phylloxera, when it hit this region, kind of precipitated a change from making red wines to making white wines. And they've been extraordinarily successful in doing so. And Verdejo is the signature grape variety of the region, and makes a wonderfully refreshing wine in what is almost kind of a sea of fuller bodied reds coming from Castilla y Leon. So really cool to share these wines with you. I even have like a fun Rueda corkscrew that I could use to open the capsule. So this is traditionally harvested, and when I say traditionally harvested, I mean they harvest this in the middle of the night. It can be extremely hot through the growing season and even into harvest in Ribera del Duero and Toro and Rueda. We're talking like 40 plus degree days sometimes during the growing season. When I was in Ribera del Duero, they described the growing season as 9 months of winter and 3 months of hell, which I think that's hilarious. Obviously, they have a more stark opinion of that, the challenges that kind of growing season brings. But Rueda is very similar, still being on the high plains of Castilla y Leon. So they harvest it at night, and that helps to keep the grapes cool, which means that they don't oxidize. It's slower for that oxidative process to take over. Verdejo is a grape variety that does oxidize quite quickly, so if they were to pick it in the heat of the day, by the time they got the grapes to the winery, they would be dripping and oxidizing, and they would just end up turning into this like mushy brown mess, which is not the style of wine that they want to produce. This is done all in stainless steel to keep that real bright freshness to it, and has minimal lees contact because they, again, want this just clean, bright, very refreshing, very easy drinking, and delicious white for, dare I say, warmer weather, which we know is on the way. So let's taste it. Verdejo sometimes draws parallels to Sauvignon Blanc in kind of its character, acidity, structure, some of the aromatics. It doesn't have the green, grassy note that some Sauvignon Blanc have, but it does carry a lot of the same kind of citrusy character. There's a little touch of vegetal here too, almost like snap peas. Stony mineral, like flinty, kind of chalky, banging rocks together, wet river stones, like Bosque pear or Anjou pear, this kind of like riper, juicy apple and pear note as well. And a little bit of kind of white floral character, citrus blossom, apple blossom. Not quite aromatic flower. It's not like acacia or jasmine or anything. it's just a little bit more like neutral floral character, which I quite like. I think that adds a little bit of like, vibrancy to the nose. I think once you get it on your palate, that's when you can really start to understand the parallels that people make between this and Sauvignon Blanc. There is also Sauvignon Blanc planted in Rueda. It's like the second most planted white grape variety in Rueda, and they do that quite successfully as well. But this wine just has this really intense, like zesty character. It's like green apple, tangy, like lemon and lime zest. Stony, chalky mineral, like salted lemon, and so refreshing. I'm inside, obviously, but this wine makes me feel like I'm outside. It has this like transportive feeling where it's like now I'm in the sunshine, and I love that. That's delicious. Food wise, think about this the same way that you would Sauvignon Blanc, because that kind of opens doors for food and wine pairing. You can do spring vegetables, you can do fresh goat cheese. This wine works really well with like queso de cabra, which is a classic Spanish like young goat cheese. You can also do things like fried fish with lots of lemon and herbs. You can do like lighter appetizers, anything kind of spring vegetable focused. Think like asparagus or peas or like other spring vegetables, ramps, fiddleheads, nettles. You can do kind of lighter pasta dishes. There is a lot of flexibility. Paella, you want to go like very classic Italian, you can do paella with all those mussels and prawns and chicken and saffron. Or, honestly, just you can just sit in the sunshine and have a glass and share with a friend or a family member, and like just kind of let this wine take you to central Spain. Drink more Rueda. I love sharing kind of maybe lesser known regions for really delicious crisp white wine, because I think sometimes people get pigeonholed into thinking like, oh, I want to drink crisp white wine. I'm going to be drinking like unoaked Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc or Pinot Grigio. But there's so many more things. There's a whole world of varieties and regions that are like classic expressions of grape varieties in place. And Rueda is just one of those, but one that I really love, and I think that more people need to like appreciate. So, like I said, drink more Rueda. This is the first one. You can start with this one because you already have it in your box. So enjoy the Bodega Vetus, Flor de Vetus Rueda Verdejo. If you have questions about Rueda or about my trip, feel free to ask. I am happy to talk about it. We weren't allowed to talk about Rueda while we were there because Ribera del Duero and Rueda are separately funded, but I can talk about it here because I'm not there anymore. So enjoy, thank you, and we'll see you guys all next time.